This is a tutorial for how I make the flip waist shorts and the flip shoulder top two-piece set. I recommend using a tube top you already have as a pattern. If you don't have a tube top, I'll add the math on the screen on how to come up with this. You do not have to make it bell out on the side. This is just something I like to do with my shirts personally. Something like this would still be okay. The fabric I'm using today is a double brushed knit. A regular jersey knit will be just fine, or any kind of knit fabric. If you're using a double knit or a double brush knit, I would recommend cutting out 3 of these. If you're using a jersey knit, I would stretch it out and test it. If it is a little see-through, like some of the jerseys I've seen, I would recommend cutting out 4 pieces. I prefer my tops to fit pretty tight, so I'm going to follow the second equation and I'm going to take 2 inches off the waist. So right now my pattern does include seam allowance. So it's showing 12 inches. By the end of this project, it should measure out to be 11. I'd recommend at least 2 yards for this project because we will be lining a lot of it. These are my 3 pieces, so now I'm going to start the shorts. Grab a pair of shorts or pants that fit you well. It doesn't matter what rise they have because we will be doing the math later to adjust them accordingly. We're going to start with the front crotch area first, so I want you to cut leaving 1/2 inch of seam allowance at the bottom, and I'm going to go ahead and recommending cutting 1/2 inch to a full inch out on the side. We can take off any excess that this leaves behind, but I do think it's better to start off big than to start off small. For this side, you can still do the 1/2 inch of seam allowance. Whether you're using a double brush knit like I am, or if you decided to use a jersey knit, cut out 4 pieces for the front. I like to double line the crotch area with knits to avoid camel toes. You're going to repeat the same steps on the booty panel, so you're going to leave some extra space here, and then you're just going to do 1/2 inch of seam allowance the rest of the way around. If you're using a double brush knit like I am and it's not see-through, then you should be good with just 2 pieces, but if you're using a jersey knit, I'd recommend cutting out 4. So now we're going to make the waistband piece and the flip down shoulder part. So we're going to cut out the waistband first. I'm going to put the measurements on the screen on how to come up with that. With my waist being 25 inches, my measurement's going to come out to 28 inches, and then I'm going to divide that by 2. So I want my ending waistband to be 14 inches. I'm going to cut a little bit longer than that, like 16, because again, I like working big to small. How thick you want your waistband is up to you. I really like a thick waistband, so I cut mine pretty far up on the side. That way when I flip it up to cut it, this is how thick my waistband's going to be. Use that same piece to cut out a second one, so you should have 2 pieces for the waistband. So I actually don't know the equation for the shoulders. I kind of just tried it on, but if you want, you could measure. For mine, I usually wear a size small, and mine is measuring about 37, so it's like 18.5 flat. We're going to start with the top first. You're going to start by serging down both sides. If you don't have a serger, I recommend a lightning stitch if you have it, or a zigzag stitch. If you're using a regular sewing machine, remember that seam allowance. If you're using a serger, make sure your 1/2 inch of seam allowance is on the other side of the blade. So you're going to do the same thing you just did with your shoulder piece that you're going to flip down, and you're going to serge or sew down the side. Then you're going to take your top and cut off the corner in this curved shape. You're going to go 1 inch by 2 inches down. You're going to do this for both sides. By cutting this out, you've created an armhole, so now we're going to hem this hole. I'm just going to use a regular zigzag stitch to do this. It should look like this when you're done. Try this one to make sure that this fits the way you want. Make sure to leave your top inside out, and make sure your shoulder piece is outside out. So now you want to make sure your shoulder pieces are centered on your top, and I'll put the math on the screen for how to do that. The top here in the middle reads about 9 inches, and my shoulder pieces are 18. I'm going to have 4.5 inches on each side. When you finish, your top should look like this. So you're going to go ahead and hem the bottom. I like to use a zigzag stitch to finish my hems on knit fabrics. If you have a twin needle, this would be the perfect time to pull it out because you could use that to hem your top as well. Honestly, if you want, you could leave these as is. But if you're like me and this will bother you, I would just use a zigzag stitch to lay this down, or a lightning stitch. I'm going to use a lightning stitch. This is what you should end up with, and now you can put it to the side and we can start the shorts. You're going to start by sewing down each of the crack seams. You're now going to line up the center lines, right sides together, and you're going to sew up and through the crotch. After sewing through the crotch area, you should pin down the sides and then sew down each side. So since we are making low-rise shorts, I'll add the math equation on how to find that. My waist is 25 inches. I'm going to add 3, so that's going to be 28. Divide that by 2. So my waist measurement flat needs to be 14 inches, and right now I'm sitting at 16. You're going to use the exact same measurement you came up with to make your waistband. We're now on the last leg, which is officially making them low-rise. For this part, I low-key recommend trying them on and then cutting them while they're on your body. That's how I figured this out originally. But if not, if you're worried about doing this, I'll give general measurements you can try on the screen. I am a size small, so with the 25-inch waist, drop to a 28. I'm going to cut my shorts rise. I want it to be 8 inches. And then for the back, I want it to be 11 inches. Right now, my front rise is at 10, so I'm just going to put a little notch right here at 8. My back rise is good, so I don't need to change anything there. I'm now going to take this notch I made in the shorts and cut it to bring it up to the corner right here. So it should be like this, and I'm just going to mirror that on the other side. I'm going to leave the shorts inside out, and you're going to pin the waistband to the top. Here's how the waistline of your shorts should look from the inside. Now all that's left is to just shorten the inseam and hem it. I'm going to make the inseam of my shorts 1.5 inches long. That's how long they are in the video. If you want to keep the inseam long, that's perfectly fine. Just skip the next step and go on to hemming. This is how little that they should look. To hem the bottom of the shorts, I'm going to do exactly what I did with the top and use a zigzag stitch and just sew over the edge of the fabric. So this is what you'll end up with. She's super cute, super fun, flirty, comfy. I hope this tutorial makes sense because I'm never making this outfit again. I have no fun making this outfit and I don't know why. I do like this one though more than the first one I did, the white one. But she's adorable.